Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about affirmations and how to use them to create your reality. So the truth is, you're actually already using affirmations even if you don't realize it. We're all using affirmations all the time because every belief actually starts as an affirmation, because an affirmation is nothing more than a thought that we think over and over again until it gets so wired in that it becomes a belief, and then it becomes our story that we tell ourselves in our head, and then it becomes our reality. And we all have that. So we're all actually using affirmations already. And to be honest, the power of affirmations is really underestimated. Words are phenomenal. Words are incredibly powerful. If you are a regular watcher of my channel, you know I'm always talking about using the written word to create reality. I'm always talking about scripting, and I love using the written word. But we tend to underestimate the power of just the spoken word and also our thoughts as well. And the truth is, every word we use is creating, because words are vibrations. They are literally energy. Words literally bring the non-physical into the physical, because they take your thought and they bring it out here into physical 3D reality, okay? And it's literally an energy, it's literally a vibration that's coming out. Now, the word grammar actually comes from the word grimoire. So when you say grammar, when you're talking about language, grammar, you're actually saying book of spells. So when you go to school to learn grammar, you're actually going to school to learn book of spells. You're going to school to learn spells, to learn how to spellcast, because when you speak, you are spellcasting. And this makes complete sense, because if you actually look at a magic ritual, you'll actually see that very often they will use sigils, and letters are sigils. They will use sigils to kind of give shape and form to the energy, the intention that they're trying to manifest through the ritual. And that is what a ritual is. That's what a magic spell is. It's trying to bring something energetic, an intention, into reality so it can be shown in its 3D manifested form. Now, I have to mention this amazing study that was done before. You've probably heard of the Emoto experiments, where Masaru Emoto did experiments on water and studied how water reacted to different words, positive and negative. So they took bottles of water, I think it was just regular plastic bottles, and they put just paper labels on the bottles, and they wrote different words on them, some positive and some negative. And after those bottles had had the words written on them, they then froze the water from the bottles and examined the crystalline shapes that the frozen water made. And now the bottles of water that had had a positive word stuck to it, like love, for example, made beautiful shapes that you would look at and think resemble love. And then the bottles that had negative words put onto them, like hate, for example, made quite ugly shapes, okay? Now, this isn't necessarily anything to do with water. This is simply showing you how if you write down a word, it literally still contains your intention in it. It's literally proving to you that your written word has intention in it. That's phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal. Your written word has the intention kept in it. It's literally a physical thing. That's absolutely insane. And it goes beyond just the written word. It proves to you that every word you speak has a vibration to it. It has something that is physically coming into this 3D reality when you speak it or you write it. That's phenomenal. So it's not a good idea to underestimate the words that we're regularly saying, not just out loud, but in our mind too, because they are all creating something. Now, another thing I have to mention is actually the Bible. And as whenever I mention the Bible, I always like to say, I do not agree with everything in the Bible. Like everything in this world, everything's truth mixed with lies, okay? The Bible has been changed thousands of times, literally thousands of times. So to assume that every word in the Bible is the truth is ridiculous. And then if we also look at the way the world is, it's also kind of ridiculous to assume that there would be no truth in it as well. Now, so I do not agree with everything in the Bible. There's many things in there, the prejudice, the sexist beliefs. I don't agree with any of that. I think that's propaganda that's been used to control us. But I also think there are snippets of truth in there, because the best way to tell a lie is to mix truth with the lie, okay? So the Bible mentions, actually many verses mention words and their power. So you probably know, in the beginning there was the Word, and that was I am. Okay, now most people think this is talking about literally the beginning of everything, and I actually don't believe that. I don't think that was what there was in the beginning of humanity on earth. I actually think that the beginning of life on earth was much more unimaginable than that. But what I believe this is telling us is how we create, how us as human beings create on earth. It's telling us that our words are often the beginning of something that we create in our reality. If you say, I am this, you're going to become that. Now, the Bible also says that you will be accountable for every word you speak. You will be accountable for your words. Now, what does this mean? I truly believe that this is not about judgment. This is not that one day you will be judged for all the nasty things you've said. I don't think that's it. I think what it's telling us is that every word you speak is creating something, and therefore you'll be held accountable by your own words, because when you speak a word, you will meet that word once again in its 3D manifested form. So every word you put out there is going to come back to meet you once again in its 3D manifested form. That's why you'll be held accountable. You'll be held accountable for your words by their manifestation. That's what I believe it means. And the Bible has many other verses on the power of words. The Bible regularly warns not to speak unintentionally. And this is because our words are creating. This is why it's so good to become aware of these things I'm talking about, because it is really good to try. Obviously, it's very difficult, but it's a good idea to try and speak as intentionally as much as possible, and not to be careful not to speak things that you don't want to be true. Now, this brings me onto the stories I have to share. I have quite a funny success story to share using words unintentionally. Now, this is still an affirmation, even if it's used unintentionally. As I said, we're all using affirmations. We're all saying things repeatedly that become our beliefs, that become our stories, and therefore become our reality. Now, I used to know a girl who always said she was ill. She just constantly said she was ill because she didn't want to go to work, and she was never actually ill. She just didn't want to go to work. So she was always saying, I'm ill. And this was a weekly thing. Every time you saw her, she'd say she was ill, and she wasn't actually ill. You'd see she wasn't ill. And every week she was ill. And then about a year later, she was still saying she was ill all the time. She actually became ill all the time, and it was to the point where it was unusual for somebody to be ill all the time like that. Every week she had a new cold, and she went to the doctors, and there was nothing seriously wrong with her. There was no big issue she had that was causing her to be ill all the time. She just had colds all the time. She just got ill all the time. And she doesn't believe in these kind of spiritual things like this, so she didn't join up the dots. But I was watching her and I thought, wow, you said those words all the time and they became true. And I think that really shows the power of words. If you speak something repeatedly, it becomes true. And sometimes it's like, I've noticed people often use the same excuse when they don't want to do something, like if they don't want to go to a party or something, they'll often use the same excuse like, oh, I'm really not feeling well or something, and it becomes true in the end if you keep saying it. I've even seen it with myself, because we all sometimes make excuses when we don't want to do something rather than actually say, I just don't want to go to that party or something. And the thing is though, if you keep doing it, it becomes true. You know, those words come back to bite you on the arse, basically, in their 3D form. So, and a positive way that they were used once for myself actually was, so I used to have quite low self-esteem about my appearance. I used to not feel beautiful and everything. And so I just wanted to change that belief. So I decided to use affirmations to do that. So I would just repeatedly say, I am beautiful. And I did that for maybe a few days, and then I went to work and I got told I was beautiful by like everyone I came into contact with, and I actually felt this really different energy, like I actually started to see myself as being beautiful, and so did other people. So it didn't just affect my perception of myself, it also affected other people's, and it was all just because I'd said that repeatedly for a few days. So affirmations are an incredibly powerful thing. Now, when I use affirmations, I like to, if it's just a change, like a small one particular belief, like my belief of not feeling beautiful, then you can obviously just say something like, I am beautiful, and that can be your affirmation. But also another good way to do it is to join up your affirmation with your scripting. So if there's a particular thing you're trying to create in your reality, you can write your script about that particular thing. And I've spoken about this process before. So you write your script about that particular thing, and then you take out one line, one sentence that you really feel describes that thing that you're trying to create, that one sentence that really gets to the core of what you desire. So for example, when I was trying to manifest my new house, the line that really made me feel the most, the line that got to the core of my desire the most was, I think it was, I'm now alone or something. It was about being alone, because that's what I really wanted. So it was something just like, I now get to be alone. Okay, so it's taking one line, one sentence out of your larger script, and then you can say that repeatedly. Probably not good to say, I'm alone. I didn't actually do that. It was something like, I now get to be alone in my house. It was something like that. So that is a great way to use affirmations. And like I said, in general, just be aware that every word you speak is creating something, and it's really hard in life to stay on top of that. Even I don't stay on top of it. Sometimes I say things and I think I need to stop saying that. But it's so good that once you have this knowledge of words and their power, just that knowledge gives you so much power over that ability to create your reality. Awareness is power. So I really hope this has helped you. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.